The one year that I remember the most was a beautiful morning. I came in with my dad's tractor with the pig in the trailer. We did the swine show, and during mid part of the day, maybe 11 o'clock, it just downpoured. It poured for a couple of hours. Everything was saturated. Back then, the car dealer, they would bring a semi-trailer with the auto carrier full of brand new vehicles, and it ended up that when I went to go home in the middle of the afternoon, the lad that had the truck with all these new autos was stuck in the field, and he came over, and I had my dad's Super W4 International, and asked me if I would give him a pull. I said sure, but I didn't have a chain. Well, he had the chain, so I gave him a pull and towed him out to the driveway here. And then there was a lineup of people that had cars and trucks that were stuck because the ground was just so slippery on top that the vehicles. So I spent the rest of the afternoon towing vehicles. There wasn't $1 involved. It was all the guy with the transport truck gave me the lug and chain to do the pulling. And when I went home at supper time, I was soaking wet and cold.
I remember this particular night. It had to go in the next morning, and it had been in the barnyard all day, and they were washing the manure off the tires, and Francis said, well, the tires, they needed to be yellow painted and everything. And so we hosed them all down, and there we were with a hair dryer, it was after dark, trying to dry these tires, and they were putting a fresh coat of paint on them under the cover of darkness, and the girls had the blow dryer out trying to get it dry. And away we went the next day, and they had their tractor and wagon. Another time, I was working away from home like lots of people did at the time, and I didn't really appreciate the night before the entries had to be in, because my kids would look at the entries and, well, we want to do this and this and this, and the house looked like a wreck at bedtime. So one day, my mother, she said, Carol, I'll pick your kids up at school, I'll take them out to our place, and I'll bring them back in time to enter their items. So they made tea biscuits and they made everything, and the next morning they've got these entries all on flimsy paper plates, and you know, when you're selecting your entries for tea biscuits, their uniformity counts, and if you've got 12 tea biscuits, there's only about 3 that would measure up. So the kids are putting these in Mother's car, getting ready to bring them out, and one of them had the tea biscuit drop off the plate, and the dog had it just like that.
I remember Jean had a lemon pie to take to the fair, and she got out of the car. It looked beautiful, but she tripped and the lemon pie went on the ground, so it wasn't even fit for the dog. But those things happen.
They do. All in a lifetime.
That's right.
But, gee, I remember when that used to be the food booth over there.
I do too.
And cleaning it up, getting ready for the fair.
And you did all that almost, I think, before we came back home.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't come back until
76.
Yeah.
So a lot
So
of
it
that
wasn't
was
really until 83 or 4 or 5 in there that we got involved in the fair. And as I mentioned earlier, it was because of the involvement with the barber shoppers and raising money for the arena and so on, and it just took off from there.
It was usually through singing somehow.
Yeah, but I remember two things come to my mind. One was we were at a fair board meeting, and they were hemming and hawing. It was getting late, and everybody wanted to go home, and they said, well, we haven't got any entertainment for the general meeting in January. So Bill and I looked at each other and we said, leave it with us, we'll get it done. So we went back to their place to have a little refreshment, and Bill said, we got enough talent in our family, why don't we do it ourselves? So they've got $2 and we've got 3 kids, and so we provide the entertainment for the AGM that year. And that was in January of, I don't know what year it was, 80 something. And then the next memorable thing for us, I don't know if you'll remember it or not, when we did the tractor draw, for years.
Yeah, right, yeah.
They were trying to promote that when it first started. So they asked me if I could get somebody to do a skit to promote the plowing of the tractor draw. So Bill and I thought, well, why can't we do that? So sat down, wrote a skit, and he and I performed that skit. Kenny Glanville brought in one of his old junkers and put it up on a flatbed trailer, and so Bill and I were up there trying to fix this tractor to get it ready for the tractor draw. That was the gist of the thing. And we had all kinds of stuff worked into it involving members of the community where we could have a chuckle at their expense. And the very first thing that happened, speaking of collapses, we had a table set up. That was supposed to be our workbench. And the thing just started and the workbench collapsed right there on stage. We had to ad-lib till we got it set up again. Away we went. And we had a good time with that skit. In fact, I think we did it at the tractor draw itself a couple of years later.
That's awesome.